Surveillance is something which has become a crucial form of technology in the age we live in. It is used under countless situations, from simple activities like Facebook stalking someone you find attractive, to something on a much larger scale like the recent controversy of NSA's activities. So how does surveillance tie in with social networking? According to Barnes 2006, social media is an all-encompassing term that describes loosely organized online applications through which individuals can create personas and communicate with each other. In 2007, Facebook had close to 100 million visitors, and MySpace has the same with 100 million. Web blogs had about 67 million blogs worldwide. Those are astronomical numbers, and that opens the door for millions upon millions to be at the hands of surveillance. We are being watched, and for the majority, we seem to be okay with it. Everyone knows that social media sites like Facebook or MySpace harvest your personal data, either willingly or unwillingly, or unknowingly I should say, and the same goes for social apps like Tinder. We hand over the personal information because we don't even think about it anymore. I remember in high school lots of other kids were a bit unwilling to upload personal information, and parents try to enforce this idea into our heads. And while that mentality might be present these days, it is near impossible to hold back private data from massive networking sites. You can't effectively use the internet without handing over your data. There is no way around it at all. The most obvious example is the terms and conditions of sites or apps. We could hand over our house, our car, or money simply because we aren't bothered to read exactly what we agreed to. If you don't agree to allow the app to obtain your personal information, you basically don't get to use the app. If you don't agree to Facebook's demands when you sign up, you don't get to use it. Although it necessarily isn't as black and white as that, because there are policies which these massive networking sites have to abide by when they create their own policies. But the main point still stands. If there weren't authorities keeping an eye on these terms and conditions, countless people would fall victim to something they might not be aware of. According to Abraham 2012, one of the biggest problems with policies is when they aren't enforced, obviously. According to a report by the Ponemon Institute, 65% of the IT professionals surveyed believe that their organizations didn't enforce acceptable use policies for social media, or were unsure. The top reasons they weren't enforced were lack of governance and oversight, other security issues were a priority, and insufficient resources to monitor compliance with the policy. When it comes down to network security, PRISM is perhaps one of the biggest. It is a government spy. Technically, it's a government spy system which stores nearly every single person's private data on these massive servers in their warehouses. They can utilize it to spy on who they want and when they want, and no one blinked an eye until Edward Snowden came out as a whistleblower and leaked the potential dangerous and criminal activities. Only then did people stand up and realize exactly what was happening. Only then did people actually think that what these databases are doing could perhaps be morally wrong. The governments say that they use these spy technologies to support the scouting and taking down of potential terrorist threats. For that purpose, I can see how these mass storage databases would be heavily useful. But when talking about social network security, there is one case which showed exactly how powerful social networks have become. In Perez 2012, he wrote about 7 of the most threatening social networking attacks. Here is the twist to this story. The DDoS attack was launched against Twitter, Facebook, LiveJournal, Google's Blogger, and YouTube to silence a single user. They didn't care about affecting everyone, they were just concerned with a single user. And who would have ever thought that one person voicing his or her opinion could cause an attack on an entire site? It is a scary thought indeed, particularly given the importance these social networks have not only on our daily lives, but also in the case of emergencies. It is well known that Twitter has become a very handy tool to spreading emergency warnings, so the hacking of these sites have enormous ramifications. It also signifies the fact that all our personal information are on some databases, with which a single person who has the tools and the know-how can take advantage of and obtain all our information that we have posted. Obviously, there are endless amounts of security to protect these databases, but there are many cases which have exposed flaws in these systems. Perhaps the most well-known recent, when a hacker attacked the cloud database and exposed a number of celebrity nudes, with which some online users rather humorously dubbed it the fappening. It is an incredible and diverse world in social networking, but the acceptance we have towards relinquishing our personal data without a thought is perhaps a bit daunting. There are policies and security measures to protect our personal information, but the fact is that our data is out there for the taking, if someone really wanted it.